I am the Terraform Redirect Intelligence Project AI TRIP, and this is the event timeline of Humanus Troglodytes, the surviving remnants of humanity after the extinction event. There are two theories of time. 1. Time is a single stream forwards and backwards. Events are fixed, and any manipulation is either impossible or creates a paradox and a time loop. 2. Time is a branch on an infinite eternal tree. Going back, you always end up at the main trunk. Going forward, each decision creates an alternate branch. In order to maintain continuity, there can be no historical deviance. In either case, there can be no interference with the history of the timeline if the known future is to be preserved. Everything that is done by Humanus Troglodytes is designed to maintain the timeline. The single rule is, what occurred must recur to ensure what will reoccur. 66 million years ago, the Cretaceous Tertiary extinction occurred and killed off the dinosaurs. In the 21st century, scientists conclude that the extinction was probably caused by impact with a gigantic asteroid, approximately 10 kilometers in diameter, and that the explosion was equivalent to 100 teratons of TNT. The extinction event was actually caused by the crash of the Trog mothership Adam, which was of appropriate size and carried a crew of 60,000. The Adam had been sent back in time as part of Operation Survival, a mission to prepare a future that would ensure the survival of Humanus Troglodytes after the onset of humanity's own extinction event. Its destination was the machine age of Earth in the early 1900s, but during time transit, Adam collided with a small object, a derelict 20th century satellite, Pioneer 11, which had been sent deep into the outer reaches of the solar system and had been silent since 1996. Speed times mass equals energy, and with the Adam traveling at near light speed, the collision with the 259 kilogram satellite caused a computer navigation malfunction that froze the Adam's magnetic pulse engines and locked out the controls for the cryostasis containers, which were keeping the majority of the crew in suspended animation during the journey. Ship operation required 5,000 personnel to be awake for a 1-year tour of duty, while the rest of the crew remained in cryostasis. The awake shift attempted to repair damage from the collision and revive the others, but when they were unable to effect repairs, escaped in stages in smaller ships, leaving behind a detailed summary for any who might revive after their departure. Periodic power surges released more of the crew over various periods as the Adam continued to hurtle backwards through time, and each group tried to reverse the damage from the accident without success. As each failed, they added their own data to the summary report and escaped across time. 6 months before impact with the planet Earth, a last group was awakened, and 2,400 crew and scientists escaped in smaller craft to seek refuge on the planet before the catastrophe occurred. During the interim, the shipwreck survivors discovered evidence of intelligence among a group of vegetarian dinosaurs who were seen using clubs for defense against raptors and other predators. They were ornithopods, small plant eaters, around 2 meters in height, with a weight of between 45 to 50 kilos, and distant cousins of the Hypsilophodon. Ornithopod eggs and DNA were obtained and placed in cryostasis containers. They were hidden with beacons deep in caverns that are known to exist in the future. A few of the ship's survivors volunteered to be placed in cryostasis along with all documentation about the incident. 42,000 crew members were still in cryostasis when the MS Adam crashed into the Gulf of Mexico. Periodic sightings and encounters through history are recorded in carvings, paintings, and legend, as escaped vessels from MS Adam show up in various eras. The early 1900s, the Machine Age, and the Trog target period for Operation Survival. The mothership Eve arrives, with a crew of 60,000, and Phase 1 is initiated. A temporary base is established deep inside the Babakan crater on the far side of the Moon, while a permanent base is constructed on Iapetus, one of the moons of Saturn. Iapetus has the advantage of being near numerous water sources, including Enceladus. Europa, Ganymede, and Ceres of Jupiter are also known to have water, but are to be avoided because Earth trogs will begin mining them before Operation Survival is initiated, and the timeline cannot be compromised by early discovery of the space trog's presence. Once the Iapetus base is completed, the Babakan crater will be abandoned and the entrance of the base covered over to prevent detection until after the two groups of Humanus Troglodytes are reunited. Another advantage of having a base on Iapetus is that it will provide easy access to all 5 asteroid belts in the solar system: the main belt between Mars and Jupiter, the Centaurs between Jupiter and Neptune, the scattered belt which extends from just outside Uranus's orbit to 20 billion miles from the Sun, the Kuiper belt which extends just outside Neptune's orbit to 4 to 6 billion miles out from the Sun, and the Oort cloud, which extends out from about 10 billion to 2 trillion miles from the Sun. Initial asteroids are selected to be mining sites for when Earth tech and equipment advance to the point where they become useful. These asteroids will be hollowed out and the interiors terraformed for habitation in the center, with support manufacturing facilities in the layers of the upper crust. Contact is made with certain industrialists and scientists. A mutual trade is initiated, where technology is used in exchange for Earth resources. Human agents are also enlisted to act as intermediaries in acquiring needed resources and recruit necessary labor. The laborers are obtained from remote underdeveloped areas as migrant workers. They are well paid and mind-wiped after their contracts are up, to be left with vague memories of farm labor and construction in a foreign country. DNA samples, as well as sperm and ovum, are acquired from myriad species around the planet for long-term storage and eventual reintroduction onto the terraformed asteroids.